Hey guys, today's episode is all about potential. I looked it up on Google, and potential means having the capacity to become something in the future. We all have it. We all have the capacity to become something great. The thing is, if we want to become something great in the future, we need to take care of our today. A lot of times we have dreams of becoming blank in the future. You fill in the blank. But in order to see those dreams become a reality in our lives, we need to speak into and live into our potential today. In this episode, we're going to unpack potential. We will unpack 5 things that affect your potential. Now, y'all know I love a good acronym to help me remember things. And so, as we live into our potential, we're going to expand our reach. The R is for reactions, the E is for environment, the A is for attitude, the C is for community, and the H is for habits. And so I want you to realize that the potential in you is not only for you. Your potential, when realized, stretches your reach. So the question of the day is, how's your reach?
Welcome to Blazing the Trail, a podcast that gives you permission to live a life you love. Be inspired to dream big and challenged to blaze the trail God has set before you. Join April Scipio for opportunities to build community, dig into God's Word, and take practical steps so you can live a life you love. Get ready to blaze your trail.
Okay, let's talk reactions. A reaction is an action or feeling that is in response to a situation or event. We encounter countless situations and events on a daily basis. Now, let me suggest that it is healthy to predetermine how you will respond to each one. So, how in the world do you predetermine your reactions when you have no clue everything you will encounter for the day? Well, you can predetermine to forgive, to love, and to listen. It's important for us to decide to forgive before someone treats us wrong. Now, y'all have probably heard me say this before, but it is so true and has helped me navigate through my emotions. It doesn't mean I don't feel the negative emotions in situations, but it does mean that I'm guarding my heart against bitterness. We can also predetermine to love people. When I think of loving people, I think of putting them before myself. Now, let me clarify. This doesn't mean that you neglect yourself. It just means you treat others how you want to be treated. And I know you've heard that before, right? It's like one of the rules you learn in kindergarten, but it's one of those rules that we need to still practice and remind ourselves of as adults. And we don't always get it right. The last thing I want to mention about reactions is the importance of listening. In some situations, I am much better at this than in other situations. So I am working on making a predetermination to listen. I think generally I am a good listener, but because I'm naturally a problem solver, I'm sometimes quick to add my 2 cents in when no one even asks for my 2 cents. I mean well, but I need to be slower to speak and quicker to listen. And let me share with you what I'm working on practically. I think it can help you, but it will also help me be accountable. So, when someone tells me something, I am trying to be more intentional about waiting like 2.4 seconds before responding. So, why am I doing this? Well, first, I want to make sure to allow them to finish without being interrupted. And it gives me a chance to pay attention to not just the words I respond with, but the way I respond. So, what does this have to do with potential? Our interactions with people can push us closer or further from our purpose. I truly believe that our potential is tied to people. When we fine-tune our reactions, it makes our interactions more meaningful and pleasant. I know everyone listening isn't married, but let's just say you are intentional with the way you respond to your spouse. The potential for your marriage to be healthy increases. There have been times that I've said something to my husband and I didn't like the way it came out. And then I go back and apologize. But I'm thinking, if I would have just waited, if I would have just paused for like 2.4 seconds and been more thoughtful in my reaction, my words and my tone would have been more appropriate. I think it's the same way in business. As you're dealing with clients and customers, practice listening and being thoughtful about your reactions. Your 2.4-second pause could be the difference between having a repeat customer and someone who never does business with you again. There's a verse in the Bible, James 1:19, that I want to read. I really like the way it is written in the Amplified translation. It says, "Understand this, my beloved brothers and sisters. Let everyone be quick to hear, be a careful, thoughtful listener, slow to speak, a speaker of carefully chosen words, and slow to anger, patient, reflective, forgiving." Now, that is food for thought. The second thing is your environment. So your environment is the surroundings and the conditions that you live and operate. And I know everyone is different, but for me, when my home is in order, I feel better, I think clearer, I can function more effectively and efficiently. Now, is it in order every day? No. I have 3 kids, y'all. But when it's crazy, I can't stand for it to stay like that, and I need to do something about it. Now, one thing that has helped me was getting rid of stuff that we don't need or want anymore. About 2 summers ago, we went through a major decluttering, semi-minimizing operation in our home. It took the whole summer and it was a lot of work, but it was worth it. I found that having less stuff to manage helped me manage the house better. Now, I'm definitely not an expert in this area, and I have had friends that have helped me. My friend Megan Valjean, she's the owner of Kindness Co. She has been a tremendous inspiration to me. I will link her IG in the show notes. Go check her out for tips on simple living. She's amazing, and I really hope to have her on the podcast one day. Whatever resources you decide to use, I want to encourage you to get your environment in order one step at a time, one space at a time, one drawer at a time, one closet at a time, whatever it takes. Even at work, having your desk or your workspace clean and neat can really do wonders. Now, how does environment impact your potential? When your environment is in order, whether it's where you live or where you work, you create mental and emotional margin in your day. So instead of thinking and feeling overwhelmed in your space, your brain can use that space to think, to problem solve, and to create. Now, for me personally, it's no secret. Y'all know I struggle to stay on top of my laundry. So keeping it real, as I was writing the outline for this podcast, I was on my couch and I had 2 loads of laundry that needed to be folded sitting right there in the floor in front of me. It really required me to use mental energy to block out the fact that I had those clothes to fold. So when your environment is in order, you increase your mental and emotional capacity. Now, I know some of you are listening to this and your environment is completely overwhelming and it makes you feel anxious even thinking about it. Let me encourage you that you don't have to tackle this alone. Philippians 4:6 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." What I love about this verse is that it says every situation. So if your environment is overwhelming, talk to God about it. Receive His help and wisdom. I remember my environment used to be overwhelming. And when I asked God for help, He put people in my path to help me. He will do the same for you. One person that I don't know personally, but has helped me so much with her podcast is Ali Kazaza. Her podcast is called The Purpose Show, and it changed my life. Shout out to Megan Valjean. because she's the one who told me about this podcast. I will link Allie's podcast in the show notes, and I think it will really help you. The third area that can help you reach your full potential is attitude. I don't feel like I need to say much about this one. I don't know where this famous quote originated from, but you guys know, attitude is altitude. For me, this quote reminds me that our mindset determines how far we go in life. Now, I want to get a little specific and talk about your attitude about yourself. I think sometimes we can be our worst critics. We are harder on ourselves than we are on other people. You have to have a winning attitude. Think of yourself as a winner. You have to see yourself as living out your potential. Now, as you live out your potential, you're going to make mistakes. As much as you don't want to, you will. The question is, what is your attitude after making a mistake? Do you quit, or do you count it as a learning experience and an opportunity to grow? So how's your attitude? Is the cup half empty or half full? Do you look for the silver lining? Do you keep a positive attitude, or do you complain a lot? Do you keep a negative outlook on life? Do you shut down if things don't go exactly like you envisioned? Having a positive attitude creates the right condition for your potential to flourish. If you keep a positive attitude during adversity, your potential has room to grow. A positive attitude puts out the fire that causes you to quit. Proverbs 17:22 says, "A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." Are you feeling dry lately? Checking your attitude is a great place to start. Now, what does this look like practically? It's as simple as making a decision. You make the decision that you're going to be in control of your attitude. You're going to be in control, not the situation, not the circumstance, and definitely not people. You are on a mission to live out your potential. You don't have time for negative Nancys. And if you are the negative Nancy, I want to challenge you to stop being so negative. I wish there was a special formula I had to give you, but it really just takes you making a quality decision to be more aware of your attitude. The fourth area is by far my absolute favorite. It's all about community. In my own life, having healthy community has been my lifeline. Healthy community means you have a small group of people that you can go to with anything, and you don't question whether or not they will feel differently about you. You need those friends who will pick you up off the floor when you feel like giving up. I believe that we are better versions of ourselves when we surround ourselves with people who challenge us to be better. A healthy community doesn't always agree with you, but it does always have your best interest in mind. Inside of healthy community, you can be vulnerable. In fact, you need a safe place to be vulnerable. I get it. It's not always easy being vulnerable, but in my opinion, it's worth the risk. If you have been in a friendship that has hurt you and you have had issues trusting people, honestly, the only way to overcome that is to trust again. And yes, it's scary. It's so scary. But that's the best way that you can reach your potential, because there's absolutely no way you can reach your potential, your full potential, in isolation. So how do you build healthy community? I will tell you that it's not an overnight process. It requires you to invest in friendships. It's one text here, a phone call there, coffee date here, out to dinner there. It's also being there for people when they need you most. My closest friends today are my closest friends because in the middle of challenges and adversity, they showed up for me. Who are you showing up for? Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 says, 2 are better than 1, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up, but pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them. Guys, help pick someone up today. We made it to number 5, habits. Have you ever heard the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. It just doesn't happen. The things we do over and over again are our habits. Habits reveal a lot about us. Now, only you can decide whether or not a habit is good or bad for you. But I will tell you, you can change your habits. You can stop the ones you want to and start the ones you need to or desire to. I suggest one habit at a time. So for me, I recently wanted to create a habit of working out at least 3 days a week for 30 minutes each day. It didn't seem like much, but I knew that if I was consistent doing that, it would help me create this habit. And now I go to the gym like 4 or 5 days a week for about 45 minutes, and I actually miss it when I don't go. It's become a habit. The key to making it a habit was the consistency. Let's talk about potential. When you want to live out your potential, you have to create habits that move you further, faster toward reaching it. You see, I wanted to be more healthy. I felt like for me, living out my full potential meant taking care of my physical body. So I created a habit of working out. You want to live out your full potential. Create habits that will put you in the best possible position to do that. Now, what about the habits you want to stop? In my own life, I've had the best results when I had someone keeping me accountable. It requires you being open and honest. It also requires you giving someone permission to speak into your life concerning that habit. Believe it or not, it can be hard for some people to tell you what you need to work on or ask you about your progress on a habit you want to stop. They need permission from you. A great practical step for you would be to choose a friend you trust. Tell them about the habit you want to stop or start. Give them permission to ask you about it and to keep you accountable. As you are evaluating your habits and making changes, I want to encourage you that our God never changes. Hebrews 13:8 says, Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. I love that verse because it reminds me that He is ultimately the one that we should look at when we are living out our potential. Now, let's recap. In order to live out your full potential, you're going to pay attention to your reach because you recognize that you living out your full potential expands your reach. It stretches your reach. So, you are being intentional about your reactions. You're taking care of your environment. You're being intentional about your attitude. You're doing what it takes to build community, and you are creating the habits that you need to create. I loved our time together today. I think that when we all live out our full potential, the world is a better place. Let me pray for you today. Dear God, I thank you for each and every person that is listening. And I just pray, God, that you would help them have the courage to stretch and expand their reach. They would have the boldness to say, God, yes, I am going to do what it takes to live out my full potential because I know that the things that you have prepared for me are good. God, help them see that the things you have for them are, in fact, good. God, bless each one. Bless the work of their hands and help them to live, love, and lead well. In Jesus' name, amen. Guys, thank you so much for listening in today. If you like this episode, it would mean so much for you to leave a review. Help me get the word out. Share this podcast on social media. Be sure to tag me and use the hashtag #BlazingTheTrail. Also, go to my website, aprilnicolescipio.com. There you get to see all the things that I'm doing to serve this community. This includes some coaching, guys. I'm so excited about this that I'm going to be doing some life coaching. If you want more info about that, you can check out the website. All right, guys, have the best day
I
ever.
am so glad you spent time with me today. I want to say a huge thank you to the production team because teamwork makes the dream work. All right, it would mean so much if you would go and rate and review this podcast. Now go and live a life you love. I am so glad you spent